Hello and welcome back to another round of Let's Play Geoguessr. Let's hope for an interesting round this time. I just recorded and threw away two very boring ones. Challenge link in the description as always, 2 minutes time limit, and let's see the world. Where are we? We are on what looks like a fairly good road. They drive on the right and they use the metric system for speeds. So we're not in the US. Let's see what we can see. We seem to be inching along this road quite slowly. Let's try and go a little faster than that. Okay. An interesting landscape here. Look at these mesas. We seem to be on, in an area of a sort of flat plain punctuated by these amazing geological formations. Unfortunately, I don't know where you would find such such a landscape, so that doesn't really help me, but at least it's something nice to look at. Come on, let's find a sign. Give me a sign. Come on. Come on. Along here. Fast, fast, fast. We're not seeing anything along this stretch of road that we haven't seen where we started. Okay, we have a sign here. What does that say? Curva Peligrosa at 250 meters. So, I don't know whether that is Spanish or Portuguese, but something. We've got buildings coming up. Something tells me that we're probably in South America. Let's hope we're somewhere like there anyway. Unless we see a URL, I'm likely not going to get any closer to an answer, and it's going to be right. Yes. Okay. Seatbelts obligatory. That I understood. Aren't they always obligatory? I guess not here. Let's see. Cafe Quesadillas. Yes, please. Okay, I'm just going to pop us down in, I don't know, Peru, and hope. Mexico. We should have got some points for that. I think the server clock ran out. I think the server clock and the client clock are slightly desynchronized, and I think your out of time check happens on the server. So if you sometimes guess in the last 2 or 3 seconds, you don't get points. That's a shame. We would use some points, probably not a whole lot there. But I will have to try and not make my guesses right at the very end of the clock, I think. Well, 4,645 kilometers. Really weren't due a lot of points there anyway, but I will work out what we should have been due and superimpose it later, because we were within the time limit on our by our standards. Let's see. A lot of sheep. Are we in? Are they traveling? They're driving on the right. Okay, so we're not in Australia or New Zealand. Okay, what do we see on the sign here? Crows Road, Lloyd's Road, and some other road that I couldn't see. No, they're driving on the left. They are driving on the left. Maybe we are in New Zealand. Because that was my first thought when I saw all those sheep. Not that, of course, they're the only place that rears sheep. Let's see. Can we find a town or some name or some sign or something, somewhere? What do we have here? More street names, but no, like, actual directional. Okay, Brogden's Road, Pies Road, Isleworth Road, Walpuna Road. I'm going to go Australia. Because picking Australia and being wrong, well, it's probably, from just sheer volume of Street View imagery, we're probably more likely to be in Australia than New Zealand. And I can't really pick between them, although, I don't know. This feels more New Zealand to me. No, I'm going to go New Zealand. But as for where, I have no idea. So let's just try and pick the centre of gravity of the islands there. Hey, that didn't work out too badly. 2,242 kilometres away. 4,268 points worked out to be a pretty lucky guess. Now, where are we? This feels... this could be a British estate, for certain. Feels like it could be, and isn't necessarily. No, I would say it is. It very much so. So let's see. Yes, there was some decorating services there. Very much, yeah, definitely a... now, can we find the name of the bus operator on this bus stop? I don't think they're going to be able to read it. No, unfortunately. So, Bradley Arcade Centre. We're... right, okay, so we're in a village or town called Bradley, but we need to make our way out of here to a town centre, to a major road. That would be good, because this housing estate is not going to give us a whole lot. Oh, there's a school here. If we can find the name of the council that runs the school. Oxfordshire. Fantastic. That's exactly what we were looking for. We just narrowed it down much more than we already knew. So we're in a place called Bradley in Oxfordshire. But can we find yes, here we go. Where are we gonna... all right, Banbury. Haha, we're just outside Banbury in Oxfordshire. We can absolutely work out where we are now. So we're just entering Banbury. It's fairly big. I don't know which side of Banbury we're on. Is there a place on the outskirts called Bradley? A suburb of Banbury called Bradley. So most of these are not labelled. So, well, I don't know which side of Banbury we're on, but let's just put ourselves in the middle. We can't be far wrong. 1.9 kilometres away. We should have been out on the west side of Banbury, but 4,994 points. Obviously an outcome that I'm quite happy with. Britain doesn't come up nearly often enough in these street views, but for obvious reasons. It's a place that I'm pretty well placed to get good results out of. Now, where are we? We're on a road alongside a railway. What does that sign say? Cyrillic. Well, we were always going to end up with some horrible round, and any round with a Cyrillic alphabet on their signs is pretty much automatically going to be that, because I have no knowledge of any geographical clues that you can find in Russia or its neighbouring countries. I really should go and be on the lookout for good Geoguessr tips for Russia, because I know nothing. I always end up doing this, because... and that always ends up happening as well. I have no idea. How do you tell the difference between Western and Eastern Russia, when the difference in score is between getting some points and getting practically no points? I don't know. I don't know how to tell the difference. I always end up going Western Russia because it seems that's where the centers of population are based, the larger centers of population. But there's obviously a fair amount of street view imagery right out here on the east as well. So it's always a guess. It's always a coin toss. So are we going to break 9,000, 10,000? Let's see. We are at the end of a road, so at least we're in no doubt as to which direction we're going to go. Okay, let's try that way. Snow-capped mountains. Let's head towards the snow-capped mountains, just because they're very pretty. A few red buildings. We could be... it feels quite European. I think we're going to have to go the other way here, because that looks as though we have just run into a forest with some minor roads running through it. One of these roads, though, has got to go to somewhere more major. Every road system has to connect to some more major road at some point, and it can only be this one. Large river. Which means, I guess, a river this wide, we're probably not far from the sea. Is that a terrible assumption? That's probably a terrible assumption. Let's scratch that. Right. Well, still haven't seen a sign. Still haven't seen writing. Here's a sign. Where was it? There was a sign by the side of the road. Now it could just be a notice board with tiny writing that we don't read. Ah, no, it's mailboxes. It's a cluster of mailboxes. So that tells us we are in a place with very widespread population and sparse population that's distributed over a wide area. If the postman doesn't come to each of their doors individually and just drops them in a mail drop. This is terrible. I don't know where we are. I'm just going to have to I don't want to run the clock out on this. We just got to an interesting place as well, but Riverside Park Municipal Campground. We're in America, are we? Shit. Oh, that was terrible. I misclicked. Okay, well, we were in British Columbia. Oh, that was terrible. Are we, Well, I really fumbled that last part. 14 points. Yeah, I really deserve that. Well, I hope you did better than I did. Hopefully you have less fat fingers. 9,367 points. Not a great round there, but we did have a couple of good rounds. No, we didn't. We had a couple of good rounds. New Zealand was okay. Oxford was great. But it turns out that Oxford round, that Banbury round, actually contributed more than half of our total points for the game. That's how bad our other guesses were. Feel free to share your scores in the comments, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week for another round of Let's Play Geoguessr.